Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Painless Universal Conversation with myself and Welsh. Today's conversation about telling your heartbreak, your pain, your suffering, your trauma, anxiety, depression, everything you've been through your childhood and adult life into joy. My guest did just that. My guest is Manuel. He went through a lot of trauma in his life growing up, from his mom being an alcoholic, being stabbed, feeling sense of rejection, not wanted, also feeling that he wanted to commit suicide a number of times, lost his everything he had. But today, Manuel Benages has changed his life around. He's a leading and a successful entrepreneur helping others. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He founded his company in 2020, where he makes unique candles. He's now an entrepreneur. He works with celebrities, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mel Gibson, and many more. He has really transformed the mental health space, working in a charity which he founded and which is there helping others to overcome their mental challenges. As the founder of Get Fit for Mental Wellness, he's committed to changing lives through the movement of Get Fit for Mental Wellness. He has such a powerful story, as I said in the beginning, and has already changed so many people's lives. For every candle he sells, as I told you, he makes candles. He donates £1 to Get Fit for Mental Wellness. I'm truly amazed of all his trauma and how he's managed to find his joy. That I won't share this, I won't keep all of this to myself. Meet Manuel as he shares his amazing, deep story on turning his pain into joy. Meet Manuel. Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Painless Universal Conversation with myself and Welsh. We'll be talking about mental health fitness. How do you get over anxiety, pain, depression, so much? You know, the pandemic has caused a lot of pain for so many people, and I mean a lot. You might not know it when you scroll through your Instagram page because the messages there are so filtered and people just put their best foot forward, but behind scenes, a lot of people are dealing with serious emotion. My guest, Manuel, as I said to you in my introduction, will share his passion for wanting to make a change to people, mental health and well-being, how he got into this game, why he's doing this, and why he's so passionate about helping others. Manuel, thank you so much for talking to me today. I know you're so busy. It's run up to Christmas, so much is happening, but thank you for your time. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we really good. Got a Christmas party at the Wellness Centre today. So I'm actually at our charity headquarters, Get Fit for Mental Wellness, where we hold all our educational programs. Where we, in the other side, we have our drop-in hub where people come in for free from all over who struggle within life. And there's two parts of it. So that's kind of where people come in, where there's coming from lots of different struggles, and we kind of have professionals here who can help and direct what needs they're coming in for. And then also we have this part which is we hold a lot of educational programs, courses, suicide courses, even down to yoga and mindfulness and sound baths, and bring all kind of elements to improve your mental health.
Yeah, before you even get started, who are you? Because we always have to ask our guests who they are that led them to this passion of helping others. Who are you?
Right, so I am Manuel Benages, and I am a founder of Get Fit for Mental Wellness, which is a mental health charity creating a positive form of mental health. And I also am I start off with this because I used to start off with who I was, but I'm going to start off who I am. So I'm also the sports director of the Arnold Sports Festival, and I'm also the owner of a wellness brand, Wellness by Manuel, and also host retreats. So I have many amazing, and I work for an experience with. So I get to work with Mel Gibson and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. So all of these things that this is what I do. I have a very successful, beautiful wellness brand as well. So my passion is helping and the charity, which obviously I founded. So I like to start off with that because I used to start off with where I started, and it was kind of the victim and the poor person that I was. But it's like, this is who I am now, and that's who I was then. You know, kind of trying to who I was then. I was a very confused man who struggled all his life from the age of 4. My mum was an alcoholic. My father left when I was 4. I was put in the care system as a child, split up from my family. I was stabbed as a child. Lived on the streets. I seen things probably not a lot get to have to see within this world, which I struggled with throughout my life to fit in anywhere and have any role models, parents, is in any structure, and obviously going into adult life. I was heavily bullied as a child, as a kid, as you can imagine. You know, I used to have a stuttering kind of, it wasn't the best time. So I had no identity, no concept of how to even fit in or to live into this world or to be an adult. So when I did try to be an adult, I kind of got stuck in, with relationships, and obviously I had an unhealthy relationship with myself, others, drugs, alcohol, gambling, you name it, sex. I really struggled within life, and getting into, I found my best friend who committed suicide. I lost my young brother died, and my mom died, and I've lost countless friends. And also, I had a wife and 2 children myself, which I, through the drink and all the grief and losses and lack of understanding, I lost all that for many years within my life as well. So that kind of brings me to where I am today. I was diagnosed with a mental illness, emotional unstable borderline disorder, and along with all these other unstable relationships I had, I really struggled in this world that we live in, the world that I lived in. Many suicide attempts, I was diagnosed with a mental illness and put on antidepressants and put on waiting lists, which it never helped. I never got seen, and then I almost died. I got a sepsis. I had an accident due to my lack of care for myself, and and that's kind of where the main change came from, or from 30, I think around 30 years of it, and then I kind of started to make some choices and decisions to learn about my illness and how I could help myself, which I did. And I learned about my childhood and how I actually, why I had all of these behaviors. And then I started to implement changes, reprogrammed my brain, so to speak, got lots of unique therapies just from myself, and went and got the help privately, and then educated myself. Very important, educated about life, about myself, about my brain, how things worked, about all of these things, grief, all the traumas that I'd had, all the abuse. Learned a lot about that, and then I made some decisions to what didn't take over my life, such as the drinking, the drugs, and the gambling, all the bad relationships I had with things. But most importantly, it was to be honest. And I think once I started to be honest with myself, I was able to change the things within my life. And decided to go teetotal and all these other choices. And start to really make a massive impact in my life. So from all the negative in my life, I've turned into kind of switched it and flipped it and started to do the positives and really going into kind of challenges. I was challenges all over the UK and doing lots of amazing things that I'd learned about myself. And because I was not good at anything as a child, I was, learning difficulties, even athletic abilities were very slow, let's say. You know, doing all these things as an adult and challenging my brain and my body, and obviously educating. I managed to make some significant changes, and yeah, my life started to change. It started to go off, and I started to put it on, keep myself accountable on social media, and then people followed, and then somebody, you know, another friend of mine took his life. Her son took his life at 19, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna. Why don't other people know what I know? You know, there was I used to live in hate and depression and guilt and every single day, and not knowing who I was. And actually, once I educated and found that purpose that I had, I wanted to share that with everybody else. And I know that from my experiences, I could make a difference, because I related to so many people. I had empathy for so many people and walked probably so many shoes in, you know, different people's walks of life, which they could relate. And that started to really show on social media. And that's my only kind of outlet and platform that I had, which I built a huge following by doing all of these things just to try improve my life. And then, yeah, I started to develop a program. I started to develop a charity where it's a movement where there's 500 steps, and I went every Sunday. It was really difficult to do these steps, but it was that sense of achievement, like life, give you a choice on a Sunday morning to get up, to make a choice, because I think you can help many people, but a lot of people don't know how, want the help or don't know how to have the help. But actually giving them choice and hope by me doing what I was doing, and then helping others and them helping themselves, it's kind of infectious, and that ripple effect started to implement, and everybody was talking about it. And then I formed a charity. I got some backing of people who was watching me doing these crazy challenges and said, look, I invest in you, or I want to help you. And that's where the Sylvester Stallone and the Arnie events came from. And I just again, from all the adversity in my life, I switched it, and I took everything on, for all the people said you can't, and I can't. Even myself, with no belief within myself, I started to believe in myself, and my life started to change, and then I just wanted to pass that and show that to everybody else. So I started the movement, the charity Get Fit for Mental Wellness. And I think there's a massive stigma about mental health, because you mentioned mental health, and people start to hide behind it and don't want to be associated. Or there's the other part where people want to be associated and live within it rather than doing anything about it. So Get Fit for Mental Wellness is just putting a positive kind of spin on that, right? Rather than it's creating a form of mental health. It's creating a positive form of mental health by actually, everyone thinks Get Fit for Mental Wellness, it's you have to go running and you're going to be okay, or you go to the gym and everything's going to be fine. Well, that's far from it. It's Get Fit for Mental Wellness is actually being able to get out of that bed and making that first step, mentally being able to do that. And that's actually dealing with what's in there, and then the running, the gym, all the physical aspects is just an add-on. If you don't have the mental capacity to even do them, well, or deal with the problems that have been caused over the years, or make the choices. Some people make these choices because they don't know another way. Again, it's educating people. It's really important to educate it. And if you don't know, you don't know.
Get there. But I have to stop you then, because I really have to ask you, when you talk very passionately about your beginning, and you talked very positively about who you are now, and who you are now is, I think, is one of the reasons a lot of people will approach you today, because they will say, oh my God, he's all this, not realizing the background of what you've been through. And I'm so glad that you touched on it. But when you look at what you've been through, because everyone has gone through things in their life, but a lot of people find it difficult to get that snap. I know myself, for example, I went through chronic illness pain in places where so many times I've been left to death. I've been in ICU, intensive care wards, so many times, and the doctor would say to my parents, my mom, we don't think she's going to make it because her blood is dropping. We don't see, we've tried everything. And I always, I remember myself, my own spirit, I always wanted to survive this. I don't know what was keeping me going. But there was sometimes in my life, I didn't feel it was important for me to still go on. I thought it was time to end this. Why am I suffering so much? When you look at your own story, you went through all this pain. You talked about your mother pain, your seeing lots of debts in your family. You talked about being stabbed so young. You talked about all these different challenges and pain and struggles you went through as a child. When did you realize enough? Because you know what? We all do. I had to. I did mine because someone came to me and said to me, enough. They left me a quote and I live with that quote every day. When did you realize I need to get help for myself?
So I get asked this question often, and where was the turning point? What actually was it? And I go back to it as there's many. I think it starts. There's many times where you could say that was a turning point, that was a turning point. And I think, like you say, getting back up, and something always drove me to get back up. When I was abused in care, and it was, the let down within there, and to get back up, and when I was abandoned, to get back up, and to find a way to get through to the next day. So many days I'd never thought I'd get through to the next day, and the pain of not wanting to be here, and thought, I was a burden, I was cursed, but always found the strength, no matter what it was, to get back up. I remember, I was just got married, and I just had a house, and I just got together, and I just got my first house and my baby, and all I wanted to be is a father, and something that I'd never had. And I thought, instead of a racing car driver or anything, what people want to be, ambitions, mine was just to be a dad and to have a family, because I never had that. And then when I kind of got that, I found my friend who committed suicide, and I lost everything, and I never thought I was going to get through that. And I got up, and then I make a mess of it. The year after my little brother died, and I lost my business. I kept losing everything, and my little brother died, and my mum told me she had 6 months on the same day he died. And again, I never thought I was going to get through it, but I got through it. And I think the big part was my mother, who died of a brain hemorrhage for the alcohol. And I think not having a mother, you always wanted to just realizing that you're never going to get that. You're never going to get that love that you always craved all your life, because she was not there. And you might just wanted her to say she was proud, or you was accepted, and never getting them. And so I think all of these kind of like lessons to get through. And I had a nervous breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown, a severe breakdown, and I never thought I was going to, but I got through it. And I think at every moment of them things of rock bottom, you can say I had, and it continued when I lost my own family. When I got told I wasn't going to see my children again for 2 years, because we were going to court, and the toxic kind of behaviour was created between me and my wife because of all the things that had happened between us. I was unable to have any relationship, and to get through that, again, a big lesson, thinking I'll never get through this. How am I going to ever get through it? But I got through it. And I think if I always look back, I think every moment of wanting to change but not knowing how to change was leading up to the big change. And I think some people have to be ready and some people don't. And when people mess up or are built up for failure, people have these expectations on them, and it's like, all right, I've messed up again, what's the point? And that's how I was. But it came to when I had an accident, and usually every time something would happen, I would feel suicidal. I would feel like to take an overdose, or I'd sabotage myself by staying on a 7-day bender, drinking drugs, while not sleeping, by not dealing with reality. Every single time, with living in that hate and guilt and that self-sabotage. And there was a time where I had an accident where I'd gone to Ibiza, and I'd had an accident, and I was up for 4 days and in a room taking drugs in a room, and not left my room. And I came back and I took more drugs, and then the infection in my back was really bad, and I'd kind of built up to this point where I'd had my business, and I started to see my children again, and then before you know it, I lost everything, and my landlords were coming in, and I was owing them money, and I couldn't walk, I couldn't move. I had nurses looking after me, and I know at that point that I'd just messed up again. It was not what was actually happened; it's how I was dealing with everything. It's how I dealt with it, because I had this poor me victim kind of attitude, and wanted to give up every time. And then I just reminded myself of all the hard times that I'd got through, and got through and come through it. And at this point, it was like, instead of actually, you know what? All of them times that I felt like this, all of these things that had happened, this is in my control. This is something that I can change. This is not something, and I need to start this life and start to set responsibility. And that was a changing point, is that I had to make some decisions and choices, and that's what I did. And it was difficult. It was tough. You know, it was really tough to, you know, to look at myself and to implement these changes. But you know what? I think it was never going to be as tough as anything that I'd already gone through. So the lessons, the times, the changing points happened over a gathering time. That was the kind of the icing on the cake to say enough's enough.
I love that. I mean, I'm so glad you got that icing point, because now you are a business owner. You've even produced this inspirational, beautiful scented candles, and
Yeah.
you've met so many. You work with so many wonderful celebrities. How do the celebrities come on your? For someone who had this background, now working with celebrity business owner, you run multiple business. Please tell me, how did the sisters start coming in your life?
It's crazy. So I got an opportunity to work. So someone came up to me and said, "Look, I'm going to be working with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The proposal to the Arnold Sports Festival was coming to the UK. They said, I want to back you, and you know, you can implement, you know, saving these people's lives." And I kind of just Arnold Schwarzenegger's business partner. I looked after him for a few days, him and his wife, and then they took really liked me and said I was different. And then the opportunity I took with is a trustee on our charity, Stephen Alexi, who all had exclusive rights to Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he had all the events in the UK. So I just went to an event, Sylvester Stallone in 2019. And then before you know it, I'm interviewing him. I'm sat with him. We was really friends. I loved the charity. And then I took that on board and I embraced it. And I did a job, and I was just working there and putting out fires and looking after people. And that's what I do. I'm able to have a relationship and an understanding of how people work. So I kind of just went with it. And then before you know it, I was in the NEC, one of the biggest complex, convention centres in the world, really owning this meeting with Arnold's business partner and Eddie Hall and all these really important people. And I just embraced, and I got my head down and I did my research. And then before you know it, I was head of relations and head of sports for the Arnold Sports Festival. I was head of the relations for An Experience With, dealing with Stallone and Arnold and Mel Gibson, so to speak. And I mean, most importantly, the Arnolds I helped create that from the beginning before it was just a piece of papers, and now developed some of the best relationships with the best spots all around the world, developing one of the best events this country's ever seen, and which I'm proud of for where I come from. And the wellness candle came in lockdown when we got told we wasn't going to be able to do anything, and I just thought, what can I do? What's going to implement? And because I was a physical person, I had to see people physically. That's kind of my job. And when I was unable to do that, I was buying candles just to feel something at home, and I was just like, this is a waste, these candles. I can give something 10 minutes to somebody in a candle. How do you get someone to self-care and meditate and breathe and just to actually take that time out for themselves? And I thought, I know, mood candle, 1 a.m, get you all ready for your day, 1 p.m, just to relax you. And I invented this candle, and it had essential oils to invigorate your senses. And then also it was vegan friendly, but most importantly, you'd scan the box and a meditation would come on unique to that candle. So it was all about uplifting and, getting ready for your day. And the unwind was just to breathe and relax. And it was 10 minutes meditations, but the clever bit, or another clever bit, was the packaging was made out of seed paper. So once the candle was fixed, you'd rip your seed paper, put it in the pot once your candle had burnt out, and then it turned into wildflowers. So that whatever flower whatever candle it was, the refresh, it would be wildflowers. If it was the night, it'd have its own unique seed. And then the proceeds, or a proceed, would go back to the charity, to the programs I'd developed. So it was kind of full circle. So the programs I've developed is we now take all referrals from the NHS. So it's an 8-week program. So we have therapists, doctors, wellness screening, nutritionists, all on an 8-week program designed to, give you the tools to look after your own mental health, understanding how the brain works. The therapy would be one-on-one, taken from all the trauma from our lives. And then the education is to give you the toolbox. It's not what goes wrong, when it goes wrong, how to deal with it, grief, suicide. relationships, understanding how our reticular brain and how it hijacks our thinking brain, all of these things that no one really knows, or why we make these mistakes. So I put all of that into a program, got some of the best professionals this country's seen, and we're on a 6th program now. So we've changed so many people's from anxieties, from rapes, from many mental illnesses, to jumping out of planes, running marathons, changing their lives, going back to their families, all of these amazing things. It all synergizes. And I've just developed a program now to go into schools, early intervention. So I've just done a pilot on that with 800 school children. So that's going to be run out hopefully next year. And then have these wellness centres, you know. I just do crazy challenges to pay for this stuff. So.
Manuel, it's unbelievable. You're just cruising. For someone who was in so much pain, you've planted a seed. So what would you say some of the lessons you've learned from your pain, and how has that helped you to the man you are today?
Lessons, I think it's not what happens, but it is seriously how we deal with things. And it's about, I think for me, and it's to start off where if I do a talk, or I start a program that we're going to be doing, or a course, I always start off with it being honest. I think we're able to be honest. We can never help. I mean, it's this world that we live in. There's a lot of things out of our control, and it's difficult we want to control things to feel safe. And it's just a natural instinct of what we've got, and things, what others have done to us. You know, again, there's help out there, and it's actually, if you're being honest, you can admit that you need the help. If you're being honest, you can actually look at yourself and go, actually, I can do better. You know, I think for mental illness and mental health, people just need to understand the difference. Is a mental illness is usually something that's created from a birth, or from our childhood, or some form of trauma. Mental health is just about them actually, where it's our surroundings, what we're eating, what we're around, what we're taking, all these kind of things that we're kind of in control. If we're waking up, what do we do? How do we change that? There's meditations and, healthy habits that we can create to control our mental health, and I think it's all about being honest. That's, for me, the lessons. There's many and many, and I know we gotta be careful with time, so I could talk forever, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think honesty is the first point of call, and if we've got honesty, we can make changes, and it's the route to all goodness.
So your Get Fit for Mental Wellness, you guys are committed to changing lives through a tailored program. So it's not like what everyone else does. You guys go to people and tailor their program based on what you do. So
within the systems, there's a box for everything. You get diagnosed with something as a box. So you might need therapy. That's your box. You might need you might need a tablet. That's your box. Self-help leaflet. That's your box. Talking. That's your box. So our charity is. It's about supporting the person, not the problem. So people sort that problem. So without actually sorting the root of that problem out, it's the problem. So that really, it's a revolving door, isn't it? So actually what we do, everybody's different. So it's tailored. Your therapy is going to be different. You might need some of that, and some of that, and some of that. You might, and you'll get all of that with the charity and what we develop, what our program is. Same as the psychoeducation, it's all about what connects to you. We're all different. We're all from somewhere, and we all find happiness from somewhere else. And it's all about who we are individually. And it's about giving people dependency, giving people so they're able to deal, not rely on a person, a drug, alcohol, TV. It's about actually depending on yourself and able to have them tools to do that. So being different, everybody needs something different. So that's kind of what the program is. It's tailored to you from what type of therapy you may need, or therapies. You might need a whole boat of them, but we can develop it within our program. So that's where the difference comes. And we, and we treat everybody the same, as in regards to whatever age you are, wherever you come from. No one's better than anybody else. We're all blessed to be here. And I think the community we've created, there's thousands and thousands from Get Fit of all people who've all come through the doors, and all significantly made changes, if not mentally, physically, from all different angles to change their life. And now they're all helping people. It's a really positive form. I created the charity and I knew it would be successful when people didn't know it was me who created it, and people come for the people who are there. So, and then I'm able to share my wisdom with people and they're able to change their lives. Now they're able to share, and then it goes so on and so on. And the most important thing, people can go to their families and be a different person. And I think that's what we've got to be really careful of now, is our children and our children's children, and breaking that cycle, and education. So, we are the role models, aren't we?
Finally, before I let you go, Manuel, can you describe how your own mental health has improved by bringing joy to others from your candles and your charity endeavor?
Yeah, it really has. Do you know what I think it is for me? I think it's purpose, having purpose. That's a huge thing for people to have purpose. And a lot of people that I finally have purpose within my life, and being able to use all the trauma rather than, pitying myself. I'm able to use that, and actually, I wouldn't be the person that I am. I wouldn't be able to bring this joy to people's life if that didn't have. So it really, it uplifts me to see how far I've come, and actually I can inspire other people from no matter where you're from and where you come from and how tough it's been. That it can always get better, and I'm the living proof of that. And so the people that walk through our doors. So.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this conversation because you really shine light on, terrible situation that happened to you in the past. And honestly, you just turned that around to find your joy, and not just for yourself. You're utilizing that to help others who might be in a similar position, all the things you've gone through, to let them understand you could come out of it. You're not stuck. Any final words before we let you go?
Oh, I just want to thank you. I'm really grateful that I'm able to be on this platform to share my story, and hopefully to inspire somebody to make them changes for themselves, to live that better life.
You just did. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.